Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday Recovery from Relapse meeting. It is the 4th of July 2023, and we have Shawn M, who is coming to speak to us today. He came into the rooms in 1991, I think, and his abstinence date is April 1st, 2022. He is from Southern New Jersey and currently lives in Maple Shade, and he is here today to share his experience, strength, and hope with us. Shawn, take it away.
Hi, I'm Shawn. I'm a compulsive overeater, and yeah, I already qualified, obviously. That my first introduction to OA was in '91, and I had been newly married. I just had 3 children, and I had just gotten 3 years in AA, and I a little, I don't know how you guys do this normally, but my background from childhood was always it was a comfort thing for me. I came from a pretty I always touch on, I'm sorry if I jump around, I get very nervous. I touch on and not get into gory details about my childhood. I suffered from sexual abuse and physical abuse. And I was told by a sponsor to put that out there only because to show that you can recover from this stuff. You don't have to, have that buried in your background. Total freedom is what I was taught with, AA and OA. My initial part of my recovery was AA, but and I try and talk about the fact that my true working of the steps was in OA when I finally when I got sober from alcohol. I blew up over 100 pounds or more, and I always thought, I was big my whole life. I had put weight on my entire life since I was young. I was hurt pretty bad as a kid in an accident, and I was in a bed for like 5 months or whatever. And it's like you sit still for 5 months and do what we do. It's it's not good. So and then that was the start really of of my journey. I When I first came into OA in '91, it was a HOW meeting. I don't know if anybody knows what HOW is. It's very stringent. It's I would have 5 years of HOW abstinence. I had lost over 135 pounds. I stuck to it very, very rigidly. I had someone who was very close to me pass away, and that was an excuse to pick up again. And I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but even today, like I was at a picnic the other day, and they were like, "Oh, don't you get a cheat day?" I said, "Well, a cheat day for me usually lasts about 2 years and 100 pounds, so I choose not to have a cheat day." It's there's no such thing as a cheat day in what we do. It's not a diet; it's a way of life. And I had several, several, I don't know how you would say it, periods of time where I got good abstinence and lost a lot of weight. I've done everything other than use drugs for this or surgery. And what brought me back into the rooms this time was, I was desperate. I was desperate again. I'm 6 feet tall. I got on a scale with all my clothes on and was like a couple pounds shy of 400 pounds. The new thing today, I guess right now, is using diabetic medication to lose weight. And I was going to do that. I tried it. And first time I ever used drugs of any sort to lose weight. And if it's working for someone, I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm just being honest about my own sobriety, my own abstinence. Um, and I did it for the first month, and um, then they upped the dosage, and I got sick, and which was a blessing because it gave me it brought me back to my roots of OA, knowing that this is what I really needed in life. And I got a sponsor. I reached out to a sponsor, but I back up to the beginning. I had periods of time of abstinence throughout the years, and reality of it is I've lost in big chunks over the years 1,300 pounds, and it's not good. It sounds great, but it's not good to bounce up and down like I do. And it's taken a toll. A doctor told me, I have had the same doctor most of my life, and told me, for years he'd say, you're the healthiest fat guy I know, but you got to stay in a spot. And until I was not the healthiest fat guy he knew anymore. It was catching up to me, my health. And I'm always been active my whole life, and it's never slowed me down. Then when it did, I found a way to lose weight, and it was always about the weight. It was never about the true abstinence, other than that first 5 years. That was true abstinence in my book of how I did it. Um, and it, but it always became about the weight. It's always about the weight. And that used to drive me crazy when I heard people say stuff like that. It's like, it's not about the weight, it's about the abstinence, about the clarity of mind. It's about not numbing yourself with any substance. And the true reality of it is that when they told me in AA that, it's life or death, it's black or white, I could understand, it's like, or to pick up is death, you'll lose everything. It's like life or death. So I came back to the rooms about 5 years ago of OA, and Kim G, I was working with Kim G, and she made me read the first step, and I was like, first step, come on, give me a break. But and I'm going to read this part of what hit home for me then. And it says, we learned that we had fully conceded to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics or overeaters. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently may be, has to be smashed. We overeaters are men and women who have lost the ability to control our eating habits. We know that no real overeater, it's alcoholic, ever recovers control. All of us felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. And that's what happened. That was what had happened to me over and over and over again. And until I could understand or get into my thick skull that is the same for food as it is for alcohol, took a long time, obviously, a lot of years between 1991 and today, present day. But this time around, I had to look at it just like I did alcohol, that it was life or death. And when I finally decided or surrendered enough to look at it that way, I wasn't able to get any time anymore. I just couldn't get a day, let alone a week or a month or anything, until I came to the conclusion that I had to look at it just like that. You know, there was no in between. It was black or white. It was black and white. There's no gray. Um, and surrender to that, you know, and I heard forever here and in AA that, you know, that our weakness is our strength. You know, it's like we have to surrender to win, you know, and I just, when I was able to surrender, ask for help, reach out for a sponsor, work with another man. And, you know, it's in the beginning, in the very beginning, when I first got so when I first got abstinent, I I couldn't be with somebody more different than myself. I come from an Italian Catholic background, and you know, your mother's like, and grandmothers are like, eat, eat, you eat so well, eat. You know, it's like, it's your comfort. It's like, you know, everything was eat. You know, it's all these good things. That was your comfort in life. And then the person who sponsored me in the very beginning in the how journey was a woman, a Jewish woman, and it was I couldn't be no more different than you know, we all, my background was, you know, we all had the box, and we were from Philadelphia background, and all that Philadelphia way of life, and it was just different, you know, and it's just, maybe I just needed something completely different. And I got my foundation and the roots of the program through that woman at that time, and she got me through the steps. And I always also say that when I got through the steps, I still had issues with some of the things that I was battling, and battling, trying to be able to face my demons. And I had to go for professional help, you know, and I did that. You know, I was able to, through her and some of the people that were put into my life, I did that. You know, I faced my demons, and I was trying to move on with my life. And that was my roots. My roots are truly in OA. And you know, and then over time, when I lost that abstinence, I chased it for all those years, till now. You know, but today I look at it same as I do alcoholism, is that I have today. That's it. Today. If I don't live in today, I can't do it. You know, and it's just, and the how of the program, you know, I go all the way back to my roots is honesty, open mind, and willingness, you know, and you know, and they go back to you know, Kim got me started and made me really look at that, but it wasn't, I didn't get it. I didn't get abstinence then. I had it, I lost it, I had it, I lost it. I was bouncing back and forth. I relapsed over and over and over again. And until I was able to look at this like I do my alcoholism, and take it seriously enough to say it's life or death, I'm not going to get it. I don't get it. I have to do that every morning. I have to ask, you know, I have to get, you know, I work with people in AA, and, you know, we talk about getting on your knees every day and asking for another day, and getting on your knees at night, and praying for, and thanking God for the day we've gotten. That's all we have. That's all I have. That's it. I have to minimize everything I do to the day, sometimes to the minute. You know, sometimes it's hard. I'm in sales now. I worked my way up through a company. I've been there a long time, and we entertain. We go out. You know, we do things. And I always thought it was so hard with the alcohol, and it's so much harder with the food. And so I had to simplify my program. And you know, when I reached out to my sponsor, I've known him for a long time in the other rooms, and I seen something different in him. He had already had like 15 months of abstinence. He had lost a lot of weight, and it's you know, they say traction over promotion, and it's that's the only thing the weight does, I think, for a lot of people, is it's attractive. You're like, how'd you do that? How'd you do it? And nobody really wants to hear how you did it, because as soon as you tell them, they're like, oh, that's great for you. And it's like, so I kind of keep it to myself, no different than my sobriety unless somebody asked me about it. Um, and you know, and everybody wants a quick fix, and I wanted a quick fix. I wanted anything to just like get it over with. If I could take a pill and lose 100 pounds, that's awesome. I would love that, but it's not true. It's not reality. And the reality of my sobriety today is it's mental. I have a mental disease. At this point, I lost a lot of weight, and I have 15 months, and I lost 115 pounds. And I don't say that like, ooh, look at me. It's weird. I feel weird at this point. I can look at my hands and see veins in my hands, and just weird things that are just things that are weird to me because I'm not comfortable with it. I have to keep my strength up because of the type of sales that I do, and and I go back to starting to work with Ben. Ben is my sponsor. He's been my sponsor since I started back on the journey in April of last year. He was he said to me in the very beginning, and I go back to my sobriety this time because I have to take it so seriously and again make it life or death. He said, can you just eat 3 meals for a couple of days? Give me a call back. And I did. And then he says, you really want to do this? I was like, yeah, I'm done. I have nothing left. I'm so desperate. I feel horrible. I can't get out of my own way. And we started the journey together. He said, forget everything you've ever learned. Forget about what you've learned in the past and start over. And I said, like I said, I understand the concept of starting over and also doing what I'm told because of my AA background. And it's what I tell guys that I work with, is that you just shut up and listen. I come from the old school of life. Take the cotton out of your ears and shove them in your mouth and listen to what you're told and just follow us because you don't know what you don't know. And I had to, with my age and my time and all the things I've done over the years, I had to do it that way because I've relapsed so many times. It's like, as much as I know, I don't know. And he worked with me to identify my alcoholic foods. And I have to look at food like alcohol. And we did that together. And I started the steps over again with the focus on OA and got into the book again. We call it the box. I don't know what anybody else's sobriety is or abstinence is, but whatever's in the box is in the box. That's alcohol. Just like I have to treat that just like alcohol, and there's no touching it. That's it. And I follow a food plan to be able to went to a nutritionist and follow a food plan to be able to lose weight or just have something to go by. And I use an app on my phone to keep track of that, and I turn that in every day. The hardest part about my abstinence this time is I didn't realize how dishonest I was with food. And it's the honesty, how it works. Honesty, honest, open-mindedness, and willingness. I'm willing to do whatever he tells me to do. And I wouldn't be speaking on this meeting if I didn't do what I was told to do. You know what I mean? And I understand today, in AA, they say don't be an AA thief. So in OA, it's like don't be an OA thief. We have to give back to recover. So this time around, the honesty has been so tough. I never thought I was dishonest with anything anymore. The freedom is in your honesty and your weakness. You know what I mean? If you're able to share your weakness with other people and how you've gotten through it, then it helps the next person down the line. someone did that for me, and you know, it goes back to spirituality. For me, it's a God thing. I can't do this without that. Um, it's I can't do this. Period. I've proven it over and over again. So I have to hand it over every day. And it's and it's nobody else's business. It's I bring all my other 12-step stuff into play because now I treat it like alcohol. So I got to look at it in all the other realms of life. I carry this into all parts of my life. We don't joke around. We're very serious about some of the old school sayings, the hula hoop. If you ever put a hula hoop on, and anything beyond that hula hoop's none of your damn business. So it's like, and I have to treat that in life. I have no control over anything other than what's in my control, and it's I don't need to be in control of anything else. It's well, I was on a meeting earlier this morning, another program, and it was all about spirituality, and it's like I believe God puts people in my life. He works through all people, and it's I don't think after all these years I've been in any situation where he didn't put somebody in my life to help me through it, that they've been through it already. I'm not unique. There's so many people that go through the same things I do, and unless we do what we're doing today, we don't survive. The strength is in the numbers. It's I help in the other program. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of death, and I tell them, you get a crew of people, be around a lot of people. Get a crew, go to meetings, do what you're supposed to do, read the book, pray. Most importantly, pray. It's an old guy in the program years ago that used to say, if you're not praying, you're not staying. And it's all the little lingo and the sayings of the past. Back then it was like, whatever, what are you doing? Why are you telling us this? It's like, this is silly. Today, it's ingrained in my soul. It's I can't forget it at this point in my life. It's I was so desperate in the beginning this time that my sponsor asked me what my first goal was. And I don't want to offend anybody, but this is true fact. It's so I want to be able to wipe my ass without throwing my back out. It's like I want to be able to, and it's like it was that simple. It sounds horrible, but that's life. This is the truth. I was that big, and I just I was brutally. I have to climb on machines, and I'm in a heavy equipment business, and I'm now the old guy in that business. I've been in it so long, and I have to do a lot of different things, and one of them is I actually have to run the machines. So it's like I have to get on the machine, and I have to climb up on, it's like climbing on the roof of your house. And I was getting to the point where I was having a really hard time doing that. And when I did do it, when I did it, what I mean? I forced myself to do it, but I was in pain day in and day out. I jacked my feet up because I carried the weight for so many years. I'm getting all the symptoms, all the, no offense, but the fat guy symptoms. I've had things happen over the years, and I'm too intelligent, sometimes that, I can beat this. I can figure this out. I can, from my knees down was turning color. And then, I figured out a way of eating healthy enough to cure that. And, but now I have symptoms that are incurable. I jacked my feet up. My feet are in bad shape, and I have to stretch on a regular basis because they hurt so bad. And some of it is what I did for my trade, and some of it is because of the trade and carrying the weight all the years. carried an extra person for more years than I want to admit. And, I want to be there for my grandchildren. I got married very young. I got, I got sober. I got sober, found God, got married, had children immediately. I had my I had my first child in the first couple months that I was sober, and then through sobriety, I ended up getting abstinent when my third child was born, which was only 2.5 years later. So I and I was raised girls, which is tough. It's a tough thing, but it's we talked this morning, and I talk all the time that this is, again, I repeat, it's not no different. I have to repeat it to myself, and keeping it into in the OA realm and about the food is that I used food to numb myself from life, and it's I have no reason to numb myself from life anymore. I faced my demons, and this was one of the last ones I had to face, and I have to face this one every day. And it's I can't repeat it enough. Is that all I have is today, and I have to break it down that way. And it's the 4th of July, and there's a lot of picnics this weekend and all this other stuff. And I have a big Italian family, and it's a tough place to be. I come from 9 siblings. 4 of us are in the program, and the rest of us need to be. And it's when we get together, there's, my family is at this point, we're not all always together, but there's 80 of us, you know what I mean, between us and our kids and our kids' kids, and we all had kids young. I have grandkids already, a lot of them, several, and it's it's a good life. I don't think about it as much anymore. It's just, but when I go to a picnic, the hard thing for me is picnics. So when I got sober from alcohol, they used to say, I was fearful of weddings. Weddings were like the hardest thing in the world to go to, today. And they were like, back then there was no cell phones. So they say, always have a drink in your hand and have change in your pocket. So it's like, so you could call someone from a payphone, which I don't even think they exist anymore. But, for me, my plan in a picnic is I have a plan to walk away from all that stuff, go play a game, or, jump in the pool or whatever. I'm not embarrassed to get in the pool right now. It doesn't mean I won't be tomorrow. I just got to take it a day at a time. It's weird for me to be in this situation, but the peace of being, the peace of mind, being sober, and the or abstinent. I keep saying sober, but I'm so used to speaking in the other room. But the peace of having true abstinence today has been such a relief. It's I'm get more emotional, and it's find myself getting emotional over things more, and just feeling life, not being numb to life. I'm very enjoying very much not being numb to life, and having to numb myself for things, with the food, and or make myself sick. It's in AA they say 1 drink's too much and 10's not enough, and that's how it is for me with food. It's life or death. I have, I joked around earlier about a cheat day. It's not funny. This stuff isn't funny to me anymore. I can make jokes about everything, and that's a coping mechanism of mine, but it's, that one just leads to a 2-year run and an extra 100 pounds all over again. So I need to the way I'm able to do it today, and I'm not cured. That's the other thing we tell people. There's no cure. I'm not cured, and I can go back to it. I can't go back to it. I can't pick it up. It has to be life or death. I have to smash all thoughts that I'm like anyone else. I'm not. And this is a disease. And I'm happy today that, Ben was in my life to, get me started again, and stick with me through this journey. And I have to be honest with him and myself. I'm accountable to him every day. And if I don't do that, and I had to identify that recently, it's like I still write it down every day. And this is my program. I don't know what yours is. It's none of my business. But my program is I have to write it down every day. I have to be honest every day. If I'm not, in AA, they say you're even walking further away from a drink or towards a drink. There's no in between. So if I'm not honest every day, I'm walking back towards a relapse, and if I'm honest every day, I'm walking further away from the relapse. And when I say picking for me,
Shawn, sorry,
a
that's your time.
okay, for me, a slip is relapse, period. So that's all I got. Thanks for letting me share.